I'm 68 years old, and I'm about to tell you how my own brother tried to kill me for money. He thought I was dead. He spent 30 years living off what he stole from me. But here's the twist. I was watching him the entire time. And 2 weeks ago, I took everything back. My name is Daniel, and this story begins with a funeral that never happened. Mine. In 1994, I was 38 years old. My father had just died, leaving behind a fortune, $18 million. Our family had built a successful chain of hardware stores. The will was simple. Everything split 50-50 between me and my younger brother, James. But James didn't want half. He wanted it all. Let me paint you a picture of James. Charming, handsome, everyone loved him. Growing up, he was the golden child while I was the responsible one. I worked in the family business from age 16. James partied through college, barely graduated, then expected a VP position. I gave it to him anyway, because he was my brother, and I thought blood meant something. I was wrong. But James didn't want half. He wanted it all. Let me paint you a picture of James. 2 weeks after Dad's funeral, James invited me on a brother's trip to our family cabin in northern Wisconsin. Said we needed to talk about the business, make plans, heal together. I should have known something was wrong. We drove up on a Friday evening in October. The cabin was isolated, 40 miles from the nearest town, surrounded by dense forest. Talked about Dad, about childhood, about the future. For the first time in years, I felt close to my brother. No cell service, just us, the woods, and a lake. That first night, we drank whiskey by the fireplace. That's when he put something in my drink. I woke up in the lake, freezing water, middle of the night. My hands were tied. A weight was attached to my ankle, pulling me down. I was drowning. My own brother was drowning me. I kicked and thrashed. Somehow, impossibly, the knot around my ankle came loose. I surfaced, gasping. I dove back down, stayed under as long as I could, swam underwater toward the opposite shore. When I surfaced for air, I heard James's boat motor starting. He was coming to finish the job. But I made it to the tree line, collapsed on the shore, washed from the darkness as James searched for my body. After an hour, he gave up, drove back to the cabin. I stayed hidden in those woods for 3 days. No food, barely any water. I watched through the cabin windows as James staged my disappearance. He called the police, filed a missing person report, cried on cue. Told them I'd been depressed about Dad's death, that I'd gone for a midnight swim and never came back. They dragged the lake, never found a body, of course. But after 30 days, they declared me legally dead. And James inherited everything, $8 million, the entire business, my house, my savings, everything. Here's what you need to understand. I could have revealed myself, walked into a police station, exposed him. But I didn't. Because I realized something lying on that freezing lake shore, watching my brother try to kill me. James didn't just want my money. He wanted to erase me, to prove he was the better son, the rightful heir. He needed me gone, not just financially, but existentially. So I decided to give him exactly what he wanted. I stayed dead. But I was gonna haunt him like a ghost. Step 1. Survive. I had nothing. No ID, no money, no identity. I walked through those woods for 4 days until I reached a truck stop. Looked like hell, dirty, injured, hypothermic. I told people I was a homeless veteran. Nobody asked questions. Got a meal, some clothes from a donation box. Then I started rebuilding, but not as Daniel. Daniel was dead. I became Michael Patterson. I had skills. I knew how to build, how to work with my hands. So I started there. Day labor. Cash under the table. Slept in shelters. It took me 2 years to get back on my feet. 2 years of working like a dog, saving every penny. Building a new identity piece by piece. But here's what James didn't know. I'd always been the smart one. While he was partying, I was learning. Business, investing, strategy. The skills that built our family fortune came from me, not Dad. By 1996, as Michael Patterson, I had enough saved to make my first move. Step 2. Watch. I moved back to Chicago, stayed in the shadows, grew a beard, wore glasses, gained weight. Nobody recognized me. Hell, my own mother wouldn't have known me. And I watched James. He was living my life, literally. Moved into my house. Married my fiancée, Rebecca. She'd mourned me for 6 months. Then James comforted her. They were married within a year of my death. That hurt worse than the drowning. James ran the business into the ground within 5 years. Terrible decisions. Expensive cars, cocaine habit, gambling. By 1999, he'd burned through $8 million. But he kept the company afloat by selling stores one by one, liquidating Dad's legacy piece by piece to fund his lifestyle. I documented everything. Every bad decision, every affair, every line of coke. Step 3. Build. While James destroyed, I created. As Michael Patterson, I started a small construction company. Worked smarter, not harder. Hired good people. Treated them well. The business grew. By 2004, I'd made my first $1 million. By 2009, I had $5 million. I was good at this. Better than with the family business. Because now I had something James never had. Hunger. Motivation. A reason to win. Every dollar I made was revenge. Every success was proof that James had killed the wrong brother. But I didn't touch him yet. I waited. I let him rot. Step 4. The family. In 2008, Rebecca divorced James. Turned out living with a narcissistic addict wasn't fun. She got a settlement, what little was left. They'd had a son. My nephew, technically. David. Born in 1996. James's biological son. But he might as well have been mine. Because James was a terrible father. I watched that kid grow up from a distance. Watched James miss every birthday, every baseball game, every school play. Too busy doing drugs and chasing women. David was 13 when his parents divorced. Angry, hurt, looking for a father figure. That's when I made my move, though. I accidentally met David at a batting cage. Struck up a conversation. Offered to give him some tips. We started meeting regularly. I became his mentor, his friend. David had no idea who I really was. But I knew everything about him. And I saw something in that kid. He was nothing like James. He was good, honest, hardworking. He deserved better than the father he got. Over the next 10 years, I helped David, paid for college anonymously, gave him his first job at my construction company, mentored him in business. James barely noticed. Too drunk, too high, too self-absorbed. By 2018, David was 22 and running a division of my company, making 6 figures. More successful at 22 than James had been at 40. And James? The business was gone. The money was gone. Step 5. The reveal. Last year, James got diagnosed with late-stage liver cancer. Doctors gave him 6 months. David called me for advice. He had no idea who I really was. I told him the truth. Showed him everything. I showed him who James really was. And then I told him who I was. I'm your Uncle Daniel. 2 weeks ago, I visited James. First time in 30 years. He was in hospice. Skeletal. Yellow. dying. Hello, James. It's me. Daniel. I walked in. He didn't recognize me. Then I leaned close and whispered, "Your brother didn't drown in that lake 30 years ago." I told him everything. I raised your son. I built a bigger fortune. And he's choosing me over you. I leaned down one last time. You should have made sure I was dead, brother. Then I walked out. James died 6 days later, alone. David changed his last name to Patterson. The Caldwell legacy died with James. I'm 68. My business is worth $40 million. David runs it now. He asked me to walk him down the aisle next month. That's perfect revenge. James spent 30 years thinking he won, but in his final moments he learned the truth.